We present a novel image-based tree modeling technique which uses a sparse set of images. Our method is able to faithfully recover complex 3D geometry of unfoliaged trees. Here we show the recovered 3D model of a catalpa tree using only 4 images. Synthesis-based methods generate tree geometry using botanic rules, physical simulations, probabilistic optimization, or texture synthesis, and are often guided by user sketches. They focus on generating realistic-looking trees rather than real trees. Reconstruction-based methods rely on 3D scanners or a dense set of images to faithfully recover the tree geometry. The visual hull approach uses fewer images but can only recover rough tree geometry. Our method, in contrast, can recover complex branch geometry of unfoliaged 3D trees using only a few images. Our solution actively integrates 2D and 3D topology as shape priors in the reconstruction process, and is able to accurately recover complex tree geometry with minimal user interventions. Our framework starts with computing the matte image for each input view. For each matte image, we construct a 2D skeleton tree. For the 2D skeletons, we then recover the 3D skeleton tree from the 2D skeleton trees. Finally, we reconstruct the complete 3D branch geometry. We apply robust matting to obtain the mattes. We only use a small number of images, which significantly reduces user efforts. Next, we compute the 2D skeleton tree from each matte image. We first calculate the distance field from the matte, and then apply the gradient vector field algorithm described in the paper to obtain the skeleton graph. To construct the skeleton tree from the skeleton graph, we detect the endpoints in the graph and trace their path to the root to find their intermediate points. Notice that the tree branches can include each other and generate fake nodes. Therefore, we cross-check the connectivity between the nodes at each cross-junction point to correct the connectivity. Next, we find the optimal 3D skeleton tree that is the most consistent with the 2D trees. The core of the algorithm is to conduct pairwise tree matching. Given 2 skeleton trees, we first compute the matching cost between the nodes. For each pair of nodes, we compute their matching cost as the distance between their corresponding rays in 3D space. If the distance is too large, or it lies out of the predefined frustum, we simply mark the cost as infinity. We then apply a simple exhaustive search algorithm to match the nodes. Through efficient pruning, our method can efficiently find the optimal matching. Details of this algorithm can be found in the paper. Once we match the nodes across the 2D trees, we compute their corresponding 3D points by applying a clustering algorithm. Finally, we construct a 3D skeleton tree by imposing 2D skeleton tree topology. Here we show the recovered 3D skeleton tree of a synthetic tree model from 6 views. Our framework faithfully captures the topological characteristics of the tree. Finally, we recovered the complete 3D tree geometry from the 3D skeleton tree. For each edge in the 3D skeleton tree, we use a cylinder to bound its corresponding branch. Next, we discretize the cylinder into voxels and apply standard space carving. Notice that since we only use a small number of images, the space carving results are highly noisy. Therefore, instead of directly using the volume carving result, we trace out an optimal path between the 2 endpoints of the edge and estimate the radius of the branch from the volumetric result. We apply this algorithm to recover each individual branch to form the final tree. Here we show our 3D reconstruction result of a catalpa tree using only 4 images. Our method is able to capture sophisticated details of the tree geometry, such as curved branches, complex occlusions, and varying branch sizes. Here we show our 3D reconstruction result of a gymnocladus tree using only 5 images. The tree contains mostly thin branches that are particularly challenging to traditional scanning or stereo-based methods. Our method is able to recover reasonably good tree geometry despite the calibration errors. Finally, we apply our framework to recover an oak tree. The tree contains many ultra-thin branches. To avoid reconstruction errors, we further filter the matte images to remove these branches. Our method is able to faithfully recover both the topology and the shape of the tree.